Right now, wherever you are, put down whatever you are holding. Reach over and try to tickle yourself. Go on. I will wait. Your ribs, your neck, under your arm, the soles of your feet. Wherever you are worst. Anything. No. Of course not. Nothing. And here is the genuinely weird part. You know exactly where you are ticklish. You have the exact same hands everyone else uses to tickle you. Same fingers. Same spots. Same body. And you cannot do it. It is not difficult. It is impossible. The single most ticklish human being on the entire planet could not tickle themselves if their life depended on it. Stop and think about how strange that actually is. Your own fingers, your own body, the exact right spot. And your brain just shrugs, files it under. Nothing happening here. Why? Why is this one tiny, stupid thing completely off limits to you? And only you. Every other person alive can tickle you. You are the only person on Earth who can't. And the answer starts out kind of funny. It involves a tiny spy living inside your skull. Then it gets weirder. There are people who can tickle themselves, and what that reveals about them is genuinely unsettling. But here is the part that actually stopped me cold. The reason you can't tickle yourself is the same reason you have never, not once in your entire life, actually felt the world around you, not the way you think you do. But we will get there. First, the funny part. There is not one kind of tickle. There are two. And science gave them two gloriously nerdy names. The first one is called knismesis. That is the light, creepy one. A feather on your arm, a single hair moving, something crawling on your neck. That itchy, get it off me feeling. Here is what that one is actually for. It is a tiny alarm system for your skin. For most of history, things landed on you that wanted to bite, sting, or burrow in. A spider on your leg, a tick looking for a spot. Knismesis is the reflex that screams, something is on you, deal with it now. And you can sort of do this one to yourself. Drag a fingertip slowly down your own arm. You will feel a faint version right now. But the second kind, that one is locked. It is called gargalesis. That is the big one. The helpless, can't breathe, kicking your legs, please stop but also don't laughter. The ribs, the armpits, that one horrible spot on your neck. This is the tickle that needs another person, and it is the one your own hands are completely banned from. You can do the creepy feather one. Barely. You cannot do the laughing one. At all. So what is the actual difference? Why can your brain be surprised by one touch and completely bored by the other? The answer is the spy. Time to meet the little thing living in your head. Every single time you decide to move, something in your brain finds out before your body does. Here is roughly how it works. Say you decide to reach out and poke your own arm. Your brain sends the command to your hand. Move. But it does something sneaky at the exact same time. It sends a second, secret copy of that command to a little prediction machine at the back of your skull. Scientists call this copy the efference copy. I'm just going to keep calling it the memo. The prediction machine reads the memo and instantly works out exactly what your hand is about to feel before it feels it. Where, when, how hard. And then it does the strangest thing. It cancels the feeling out. Before the touch even lands, your brain has already decided it does not count. Because it knew. It saw it coming. There was no surprise. And tickling runs entirely on surprise. No surprise, no tickle. Every single time. Now watch what happens with somebody else. When a friend reaches for your ribs, your brain never got a memo. It has no idea where, when, or how hard. So it cannot cancel anything. The touch arrives at full, undiluted strength. Surprise, tickle, chaos. That is the whole secret. You cannot surprise yourself. Your brain is always one step ahead of your own hands. It has read the memo. It always reads the memo. Which raises a fairly obvious question. What if you could stop it from reading the memo? What if you could sneak a tickle past your own brain? It turns out scientists tried exactly that. And it worked. In a lab in London, researchers built a strange little machine. 2 robot arms connected together. You hold and move the first arm with one hand. And the second arm copies your movement and uses a soft foam tip to stroke your other palm, so you are tickling yourself, but through a robot. At first, they ran it with no delay at all. You move, the foam moves instantly in perfect sync. And nothing. Not ticklish. The brain saw it coming and cancelled it, same as always. The robot fooled nobody. Then they changed one tiny thing. They added a delay, a tiny gap between when you moved and when the foam actually touched you. Barely anything. A fraction of a second. 0.2 of a second. And suddenly, it tickled. The exact same touch, your own movement, now ticklish. Because that tiny delay broke the prediction. The brain predicted the touch for 1 moment, but it landed a beat later. Prediction missed, surprise restored, tickle unlocked, make the delay longer, and it gets even more ticklish. So yes, you can absolutely tickle yourself, you just have to lie to your own brain about timing. But here is where this stops being a party trick. Because some people do not need the robot. Some people do not need the delay. They can reach over, right now, with their own bare hands, and tickle themselves. For real. And that is not a fun fact. That is a medical signal. For most people, that prediction system is rock solid. Your brain always knows which movements are yours. That sounds obvious. It really is not. Knowing your own hand is your own hand's a job your brain does silently, every second, flawlessly. It is how you know the difference between you and not you. But in some people, that system breaks down. In certain cases of schizophrenia, the brain stops reliably tagging its own actions as its own. A person can move their own hand, and on some level it does not feel like they did it, as if it were being moved by someone or something else. Doctors call these delusions of control. And here is the eerie part that ties the whole thing together. Those same people can often tickle themselves. No robot, no delay, just their own 2 hands. Because if your brain no longer flags your movements as predictable, and yours, then your own touch arrives like a stranger's. Full strength. Surprising. Ticklish. A simple tickle becomes a window into how a brain tells self from world, and what happens when that line starts to blur. Okay, let us step back from the dark part. Because there is a question we completely skipped. When you get tickled, you laugh. Why? It is not because tickling is funny. Nobody hears, "I am going to tickle you," and thinks, "Ah, a great joke." You laugh at a good joke because something delighted your brain. You laugh at tickling for a completely different reason. In fact, you will laugh even while you hate it. You can be genuinely begging someone to stop and still be helplessly laughing at the very same time. That is not joy. That is a reflex. Closer to the way your eyes water when you chop an onion. Your body just does it, whether you like it or not. Charles Darwin actually had a theory about this. He thought the tickle laugh only works when you feel safe. Tickled by someone you trust, you laugh. Tickled by a total stranger with no warning, you do not laugh. You panic. The exact same touch. A completely different reaction. Which is why tickling has a genuinely dark history. Pushed too far, the laugh turns into something else. It has been used more than once in history as a form of punishment. Because you cannot stop laughing, and you cannot catch your breath, the same reflex that means play can be turned into something cruel. And scientists still cannot fully agree on why the laugh happens at all. One of the most familiar feelings you have, and honestly, still a mystery. Now for the part I find genuinely delightful. Humans are not the only ones who do this. In a lab in Berlin, a scientist did something wonderful. He tickled rats, specifically on their backs and their little bellies. And the rats loved it. They chased his hand around the box asking for more. They did little leaps researchers actually call joy jumps. And they laughed. You just cannot hear it. Rats giggle at a pitch far too high for human ears. 50 kilohertz. Ultrasonic giggling. Slowed down so you can hear it. It sounds like genuine, helpless laughter. The scientist even found the exact spot in their brain that lights up. And when he stimulated that spot directly, with no tickle at all, the rats giggled anyway. A laugh triggered straight from the brain. And it is not just rats. Dogs, chimps, gorillas, even foxes. Tickle a young gorilla and it makes a breathy, panting little laugh. This reflex is ancient. Far, far older than us. Tickling's not a human quirk. It is a deep, shared mammal thing. About play, and trust and touch. Which brings us back to the promise I made at the very start. I said you have never actually felt the world. Here is exactly what I meant. That prediction system. The memo, the spy, the cancelling. It does not only handle tickling, it runs absolutely everything. Every sensation you cause yourself, your brain quietly subtracts. When you walk, the whole world bounces up and down on your eyes. You never notice because your brain edits the bouncing out. When you talk, you barely even hear your own voice. But a recording of you sounds like a total stranger. Because your brain has spent your whole life cancelling you out of your own experience. It has to. If you felt every self-caused sensation at full strength, you would drown in noise, your own heartbeat. You're blinking. Every single step. Picture the difference. So your brain builds a quieter, edited version of reality. One where all the you parts are turned down low. And it quietly hands you that version. You have never experienced the raw world. You have experienced your brain's best guess of it. Always. The tickle is just the one place you can actually feel the edit happening. The one little crack where you catch your own brain in the act. So go ahead, try to tickle yourself one more time. Feel that nothing is your brain, working perfectly, editing you out of your own hands, the way it edits you out of everything. Your body keeps stranger secrets than this one. If this one got you, there are more waiting on the channel.